Are we on? Can you hear me? Can you hear me? Microphone check. Lights. Cameras. Hit me. This is swanky. This is lifestyle. This is culture. Welcome to the social center of everything culture. Culture Daily.
Hope you're enjoying that back-to-back classic, Highlife classic, if you ask me. But that brings us to our conversation this morning. But before we even jump into it, don't forget that you can go for gold and bet risk-free on the new season of Betway or with Betway. Use the golden booking code that's found on the Betway website to bet selected matches ongoing till I think about the end of this month. Now, guess what? You can get back 100% as a free bet on any losses you make. You always get way more with Betway. Terms and conditions apply. Betway, well, regulated by the Gaming Commission of Ghana. No under 18. Betway gets way more. Well, feel good. I call this Feel Good Thursday because you can win 5,000 Ghana cedis cash prize by helping, whilst you are building schools, being part of some projects, okay? Now, you can even win iPhones. Let me tell you how this works. Just go on to this website, mayekoo.com. Try it now, mayekoo. But wait, let me finish telling you before you jump on the website. Now, it's a social impact crowdfunding platform that has teamed up with nonprofits to raise funds for essential projects like, building schools, hospitals, stuff like that. But here's what makes this website different. Every time you support a project on the platform, you're automatically entered to win incredible prizes like cash prizes, iPhones, iPads, and many more. Okay, so you'll be helping to fund critical projects like restoring the Labadi Beach. The situation over there. Don't let me speak French. Cyril is coughing on that note. Building schools, renovating maternity, stuff like that. So go ahead and donate to the cause on the website and partake in this, and you can win amazing prizes. This promo is regulated by the NLA on the Caritas Lottery platform. Terms and conditions apply. And don't forget, brushing your teeth is very important. Monday to Sunday, morning and evening. Do so before you jump into bed. Don't forget. Don't think it's only for the morning. Brush your teeth in the evening, my fuse blowers, because when you eat and you don't brush your teeth, food and sugars are definitely trapped between your teeth, and it can lead to tooth decay, gum disease, and in some cases foul breath. And that's why you need Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, because it is fortified with pro-fluoride and micro-calcium ingredients. See how I say it easily because I went to Achimota. If let me give it to Cyril to try it.
You want me to embarrass you at school?
Well, that's on the lighter side. So, Pepsodent Cavity Fighter, maximum cavity protection, 10 times stronger teeth. Today being Thursday is a tunnel hour at Tunnel Lounge. You got to go there, okay? All day experience. You can't miss it. Tomorrow will be the Friday Tunnel Cruise, but today is a Tunnel Hour. Lots of things lined up for you at Tunnel Lounge. Find them, I beg your pardon, on the number 45 Kofi Annan Street, that's next to Naho Clinic inside Jolu. All right. On that note, getting here can be easy, or going to your new destinations can be easy with Yango. Easy does it. Now, if you're a first-time user of Yango, just download the app right now, ASAP, and key in 3music as your promo code, and guess what? You get 20% off your first 2 rides. Easy does it. Get to your destination safely with Yango. Now, I didn't want to spit violence or spit fire yet. I'll take it on a lighter note. Others have Kwaito. Some have hip-hop. Some even have pop. Others have country music. Until 2023, what time is it? 9:04. They are still practicing heavily. They are pop, kwaito, amapiano, you name them. Different countries. I need more countries and their song genres, yeah? But when it came to us, we sort of pushed the ones that could represent us a bit more to the side. Our Highlife music. But look at the dress code of some of the artists you see today. When they jump on stage, they're in their big X-base trousers, right? Tight tops, crazy hats, crazy hairdos. Unlike Lenny, who went older school. But even the dressing type, that culture, resonates Highlife. As Cyril will give the definition. Cyril, please, I want to hand over to you at this point in time to redefine the culture, the fashion culture of what high life was, or why they called it high life at that time, before we even come to music, then I can spit more violence. Yes. Tell us.
Yes, and Peter's here. Yeah, just for clarification, it's not Achimota. So it was like influenced by our local traditional music vibes and like fashion sense.
Yes.
Trying to assimilate the foreign or the Western culture that we saw from our colonizers.
Yes.
So adding that refinement to our authentic vibe. And that's the blend that kind of influenced
That was the blend that influenced, ladies and gentlemen. So we even had something that attracted the West End to find interest in the beautiful merger between our culture and what they had. High life. Then the music birth. High life music told stories, the particular instruments that defined high life and rhythms, if you ask me. Here we are today battling an identity for ourselves. When at childbirth you were called Kujo. Many years down the line, you ask you what's your name, then you say my name is Smith.
From Atlanta.
Now, even Smith in Atlanta doesn't want to use Smith in Atlanta any longer because there's somebody called Ashanti from that side. You feel me? Ladies and gentlemen, one man has decided to champion this cause to get us back to where it all started.
Rambo
is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Make some noise for Juls, baby.
Commando. Blowman.
I didn't see that coming.
But don't you remember when you're watching the movie and then there's an explosion and then the Blowman walks through the fire? When the Blowman walks through the fire, that was... When they come beat them,
always Blowman will collect some blows small.
But then go carry the killing girlfriend.
Jules, what you carry away, it make you turn Rambo like this. What did you remember? Because like I said, you go carry some trauma. You can do it. You can do it. You said
so if mommy hold your hand.
Yes,
you are my friend.
What made you decide to go back to our super roots, to redig the conversation, to redig the culture, and present it to us again in a very urban, contemporary? I don't know the last word. Something defines it.
Yeah, I think.
I'm sorry. First off, what did you do?
To be honest, you said it earlier of how everybody has their genres. South Africa has Kwaito. Brazil, they have their genres, samba, bossa nova. And we've always had high life and hip life for years and years and years. But I feel like all of a sudden it was looked down upon. In my opinion, I feel like, it's been classed as something that is just mainly for the lower class and the lower class only, so the middle class and high class don't really.
But that wasn't the case, because that's how come I made Serial define it again for us. That wasn't the case. It wasn't music for the lower class.
Yeah,
it was a culture for the upper class.
Yeah, it was. Hence the reason why they call it high life, like living the high life. And I think Kwame Nkrumah was.
Can I borrow living the high life? Can I borrow it, please?
Yeah. You take
Thank you. I've taken it, please. I have taken it. Nobody.
You know who could take out from you? Rasta man.
It's a very powerful statement you just said. Living the high life.
Yeah.
Please
because Kwame Nkrumah was championing high life because it was very, very important. That was a way in which a lot of the band members were able to, stay financially stable. They were traveling all over the world, and he made sure that the message in the music was very positive. When Ghana gained independence, it was such a big thing for a lot of people worldwide, especially black people. People in Trinidad and Tobago were celebrating the fact that we had, gained our independence. And high life music was a very, very important variable at that moment. I think 60 plus years down the line, it's almost non-existent, to the point where, when you neglect something that's yours, you're going to get somebody who sees an opportunity, take it, refine it, and then make it theirs. And then our stories haven't been documented properly. So I was like, you know what, let me, take a risk of putting my all into this project, collaborating with some amazing artists, and kind of like produce a template that I feel could be used as the storyboard for people, producers, artists to be like, guys, you know what, he's dabbled and dabbled into some high life sounds and hip life sound. I feel like this is the way we should go. My favorite eras of high life are the older times, like the Pat Thomases and all. But then hip life, my favorite era was the Hammer era with the Chinese and the Brafos and the Quades. And those sounds were they felt very spiritual, and the drums were crazy. And I feel like if we go back and we listen to that and we champion that, and then the media, entertainment industry, the DJs, even the restaurants and the lounges that are playing music in the background, they kind of like make sure that our music is played predominantly. Yesterday I was with Kofi Boachiansa, aka Big Man, and shout out to him, and he made a very interesting comment about a culture policy to be established where it's actually compulsory for 80 to 90% of our music to be played literally in every single institution, whether it's a restaurant or whether it's radio, so that we make sure that it's quite dominant. When people come to Accra, they go to Kumasi from different parts of the world, they know that when I was in Ghana, the thing is Highlife, because people come to Ghana right now and they realize that, oh wait, they're playing a lot of amapiano here, they're playing a lot of Nigerian music, which is cool, but it doesn't leave us with an identity. And when we neglect that, then we have a problem.
Very big problem. Is it possible, before we even come to what happened last night and and what you're championing, is it possible to even be able to institutionalize something like that, where there's an 80% of play of our music, of what really defines our music,
right?
Or is it really possible?
I think it's. I mean, there was a lady who was at the I met yesterday who was Ghanaian, but she's lived in South Africa her whole life.
Okay.
So she actually isn't really too much in touch with her Ghanaian roots as much, and this is the first time that she's been to Ghana in a while, or the first time ever. And she made a comment about, when you're in South Africa, they're literally in their own world, and 80 to 90% of the music that they play is purely South African music. Amapiano, Kwaito, Afro House. And they play the pop records here and there, and maybe a few Afro beats, but you're going to hear South African music, the whole time. And I think even Nigeria, like, you are hardly going to hear anybody else's music.
Cameroonian music or Tanzanian music.
It's very rare. And, and even if you do hear it, it's like 1, 2 here and there. They don't even listen to amapiano that much, because Nigerians have also created their own form of the amapiano with the likes of Ashake and a few other people, so they fuse that in.
Can I hold you right there, guys? Can I spark this controversy? Oh my days! Let me just put my hands up and allow the crucifixion to begin. Please nail me and let's start. Can I say that Accra has been responsible for this misguided? Yes, right. Dennis, yes. Accra.
No. That's the question. The question is yes.
Accra can be responsible for diluting the culture of I don't know how
the
how
authentic
well
music culture of Ghana.
Thank you very much. I was afraid to trying to maneuver my way around with the things, but as he's put in a very simple way.
When you say that, in what capacity?
Now, if you travel to other regions, if you go to maybe Sunyani or something and you listen to typical radio there, let's say between I tell you what, you would hear a lot of, I don't know about now, so I can't speak to what for it, but from the time that I really used to move around, you'd hear on radio, you'd hear a lot of high life music being played. Songs that you would bust your mind. If it's gospel, like pure gospel, not foreign gospel music, pure gospel, Ghanaian gospel music. You enter Takrade, unless the station is in one of the very stations that have been infected by the new culture, the virus. But you would constantly hear. You would hardly go to the Volta region and tune into radio there. And yes, you might hear one or two foreign songs. But I don't think I'll be hearing Drake in the Volta region. I don't think I'll be hearing any Dr. Dre in the Volta region.
The spinners, the DJs who play,
Yes,
but not on radio.
yeah.
Even for Takrady and the likes, I think it's because these are like coastal areas, and you know the coastal areas are mostly their stories or their identity is driven heavily by the fishermen there.
And you realize I didn't even mention Kumasi.
Yes. So,
I didn't even mention Kumasi because even in Kumasi, I mean, unless it's not an urban station or it's a news station, but a very typical station that is for the people, for the masses. We hear music, the music that originates from them being played. So sometimes I feel like Accra is sort of has championed this thing without us knowing, because there are a lot of different people in the city. So we try to feed everybody in there.
I think it's everywhere.
No, but it's not everywhere in Ghana.
No, I'm just saying like everywhere. As in, like even in Nigeria, if you're not big in Lagos, you're not big.
No, it wasn't always like that.
No.
In Nigeria,
no, there's always a melting pot.
I'm saying that
there's always a
every
melting
country
pot that
has that
defines
melting point.
the culture.
Do you get me?
It's like America. You
if
go
you
to
listen-
Hollywood to make it.
Yes, that's
You
what
can
I'm
be
saying.
dope
Every
in
country has
Carolina
that.
all you want, but you go to Hollywood to make it.
It's just like back in the day
No,
before you check out.
I'm talking about. I'm being specific on our music.
Yeah, I know. When I'm saying
Yes.
that it's in every country. You need like there's a central point where your music must travel to before it becomes big. It's just
No,
a few-
I'm not talking about that. That's what I don't want you to do. I'm saying that the diluting of our culture,
And I'm
music
saying
culture.
that the central point has become the validator of what song is.
Yes,
big
but
and
he's
what
saying
song
that.
is
So
not referring
why
to
was
the
it not?
central
So
point.
he's saying that why was it not? Why was it not?
fairly distributed.
No.
No.
If that was the melting pot that
Then-
defines the sound,
then-
why didn't it define
Highlife.
Highlife and he went to define other people's things?
No, but
He's not debating whether Accra is the melting pot.
But it did define Highlife.
For a period.
18 Menses and the likes were not.
Exactly.
Charlie, I'm talking today. You've taken me.
Oh
to
no,
yesterday.
but we have to,
It's
we have
a
to
key
start from
point.
somewhere.
Oh no, but I'm talking today. Forget about 18 minutes
what
time.
I'm
I
saying.
want today, my brother.
And I'm
If
saying-
you guys went for the culture yesterday, you were there for the culture.
Yeah.
It is a beginning of a turning point for the on what we want to do.
And I'm saying that until we are able to appreciate what happened in the past, we won't be able to learn the lessons from the past to inculcate them in what's going to happen in the future.
Look, the guy
You
who
get what I'm
presses
saying?
play, at the station for a song to play is a very powerful guy.
Yes,
the DJ,
the DJ.
or the
Yeah.
curator is a
Yes.
very powerful person.
DJ.
That person in Accra is same body and flesh as that person in another region.
Yeah. Right.
But that person in the other region is not
It's
doing
staying
what
authentic.
is being very authentic. I can boldly hit my hand on my
That's
chest
true,
and I
that's
say that
facts.
when I travel to a certain region, maybe I go to the Volta region, I would hear, but the
You hear Ice Spice.
percentage of I'm not here with
Ice
Spice.
Spice.
Ice Spice.
Or that baby.
Yeah, I mean, they will play, one or two people might chip it in, but
Yeah.
Not as much.
not as much as Accra would do it. And I understand Accra is a validator, sort of. But why then didn't we validate the Bobobo and those other ones in Accra for it to?
There was a systematic breakdown.
Because it
So
wasn't
there's something
cool.
interesting I read yesterday, and I just want to share with us. In 1952,
Hey,
relax, the Secondary Telegraph, a newspaper, has a press release for a song, an expression of solidarity between Africans of the Gold Coast and people of African descent in West Indies. Trinidad calypso singers, headed by George Brown, have composed the calypso song called Freedom for Africa. So that was a press release in 1952 of a song called Freedom for Africa.
Before independence.
E.T. Mensah was involved in the production of this song, but this song got mention of Dankwa and Nkrumah. It was very political, so the song got shut down. So fast forward 1957, Ghana has independence. So Freedom for Africa became Ghana. We now have freedom. The E.T. Mensah.
Ghana.
We now have freedom. The original inspiration, the original happening that inspired it was actually, and this is from the Secondary Telegraph from 1952. Trinidad calypso singers, West Indies musicians, headed by George Brown and other Ghanaian composers, composed a calypso song called Freedom for Africa. But in that, there were too many aspects and there were political connotations. So it got shut down at a point. Fast forward, we are independent, 1957. E.T. Mensah quit his pharmacy job. So he was a pharmacist.
Yeah.
He quit his pharmacy job now and he's doing full-time music going across the country. So in celebration of Ghana's independence, Ghana, we now have freedom, everybody now. Then that was born. So it was rooted in our search for identity after being colonized and being washed up without any identity, for a long time. It wasn't just us, West Indies, Calypso, so the African sound, period, was struggling to find a way and unify. So it was freedom for Africa, and everybody said, Charlie, remix, everybody jump on this. But it was too political, got shut down. And after independence, now that we had our actual freedom, E.T. Mensah forwards it. With Ghana, we have freedom. So just to what Jules was saying about the high class of it, it didn't start out being snobbish. It started out being liberating for everybody, from Tamale to Osu. You understand?
Exactly.
West to East. It was liberating. Everybody sang that E.T. Mensah song without feeling like this person they rush, this person is high class, I'm low class, it's from Accra, it's from secondary. No, it was about a unifying force. Somewhere along the line, like you're saying, when the culture gatekeepers and the shapers of the culture and the sound decided to allow other things to flow in, is when we lost focus and priority on that journey that started in 52.
So, Jules, that comes to, I mean, I know we haven't spoken about the project yet, but we'll come to it. There's time enough to discuss it. So, what's triggered the feeling for you to want to go back to this? Because you're a young guy. I mean, you have every reason to do a hip hop, joint, or some of a piano, or some Afro beats, or something else. Yeah. But what inspired you to want to take on this journey of redefining Palmwine music?
So I think the last few months, pretty much like the conversation, literally across everywhere from social media to TV to radio, has been the Ghana sound. And us being in the bigger conversations, because, our neighbors seem to be doing incredibly well, and, we are just not in the conversation at all. So what's happened is some of our artists have tried to copy what, they do. By trying their hands at amapiano and songs that are very poppy from an Afro pop sense, but it's like we keep on watering our sound to a point where if we're not careful, we might not be in existence ever again. Now, with the term palm is Palmwine Highlife, really, which is a form of Highlife that stems back from like the 1920s. Like, it's a very, very old genre of music, but with time the likes of Konimo kind of like championed that sound to a larger extent, and it's a very interesting style of Highlife because of the way the guitars sound. The Portuguese guitars that they learnt at sea. And they adopted this sound actually from Crew people from Liberia and Sierra Leone. And the Crew people have been in the in those water bodies for decades, and they're the ones who actually found Christopher Columbus when he was lost at sea. So it's quite deep, because when you're at sea, you need to kind of like find rhythm when you're rowing. So playing the guitar was actually one of the methods for them. Songs. Yeah. Obviously, we kind of like adopted that style, and then we kind of like infused it into our own music. Highlife music is influenced by so many other genres, not even just from that side of the globe, but even Congo with likes of Sukus. And so it's kind of like changed our style in which we play our guitars, in regards to Aponsa, Kwao, and all of that stuff. Now, I say all of this because all of these sounds are very unique, and you can create so many different melodies with the guitar that have an African style of melody, and Ghanaian particularly. And I feel like I wasn't hearing a lot of that, and even if I did hear a lot of it, it was kind of like watered down to sound like an African pop record. I think it's important to go back into time and study those things. A lot of it is not well documented. That's the honest truth. And if we want to continue to complain about us not having a sound and not do anything, then we're not going anywhere. So I was like, instead of just talking or having conversations with people every single day about this situation of, do we have a sound? Let me just try something. So I looked into the archives of some of the stuff that I've made in the past with, a few Ghanaian artists, because I've been sitting on a lot of music. I was scared and not confident enough to drop it because I feel like the Ghanaian consumer is one of the most complex consumers, and I don't know how they would take certain things, because I'm in a place where you don't just drop music for the sake of dropping music. This is what you use to, feed your family and then to get by. But then it was like, you know what, let me just take this risk, put it out there, speak to as many people as I can to support this and say, look, the narrative is I'm trying to prove a point that we do have a sound, and it's important for us to tap into our old sound, listen to some of the elements that were big at the time. And even not just about the music, about the culture from some of the festivals that we used to do, Kiddie Time, Kidder Fest, when we were having the carnivals in Osu, all of that seems to have just gone. And I feel like those were very, very important times, of our lives where we were proud of our culture. It just seems like it's non-existent anymore. And I don't know whether it's funding, or I don't know whether it's people are not interested anymore.
So please, just hold on right there. Something you just said triggered thoughts in mind. Did we relegate high life music to alter music? And is a comeback of high life music threatened to become an alter sound? I don't know if you get what
I see what you're saying. I see what you're saying.
And you know what we've done to alter music in our space, right?
What?
Like it's for the
But I must say,
countermand.
It's not all.
It's for the wolf.
The cool, the
cool
underground.
But it's not all the alter music that is like high life. So
No. I'm not saying
He's
alter
saying that,
music.
are we going to add high life to the alter?
No.
No, have we replaced
Have you
high
replaced-
life
have you-
with
when you
alter?
question, the question was, have you replaced high life with
No,
alter music?
not
Is that what
replaced. No,
Are you're not listening well to me.
I'm surprised. My brother's
No, I don't know what's
what
happening
are
on
you
this side.
saying? No,
what are
It's
you
your
saying?
ear.
The world, man.
He said
Because
that
that's
the
what
way
I
we have
got from.
relegated other
Relegate, not replace.
niche music to alter status.
That is how we have
the
relegated.
reinsurgence. No, he's asking that does Jules see if the reinsurgence of high life will also be relegated, or is there hope for it to go mainstream?
Yeah, but high life
is
is never
mainstream.
alter. High life has never been alter.
We know, that's why he's asking.
No.
Charlie, I told you guys, wait, after the show, then you drink the tea.
Relax.
High life, see the problem now.
You see,
I never said high life.
No,
had
I'm not-
been-
no, bro.
in fact,
Relax.
let me proudly say that we relegated
look at
high
me.
life.
I'm saying
Look at me.
that.
Hey,
We
bro,
shoved high life somewhere. Do we agree we shoved? We all of us.
bro,
Actually,
let me
wait
deal
there.
with this.
Yes,
No,
please.
it's
Thank
not.
you
It's
very
not
Bro,
about.
look at me.
No, hold
Hey,
on.
bro, look at me.
No,
Yeah,
he's
you have
actually being
It's not
very.
about showing. No, you see, once again.
No, you didn't understand me.
I understand what you're saying.
What did I say?
You are asking about the fact that high life has not been existent about, right?
No,
No, I didn't say that.
He didn't say that.
Charlie, you are.
Waiting,
No, but I
bro.
didn't say that.
No, you go ahead. Go ahead.
Waiting, bro.
Jeremy, please help me out.
Yeah, so Nyanana Pachren say
No, you didn't get me.
we've had other genres that were equally supposed to be big in this country, but for one reason or the other, it got relegated to alter, which means it's good. We know it's good, but it's never going to be mainstream. That's what the Ghana alter scene is. Ghana alter scene is basically we dope, but go mainstream. Now he's saying Jules trying to set this agenda. Does he see the future as mainstream will also see this vision and open up now that you turn your radio on?
When you say alter, are you talking about this new generation of alter, or you're saying alternative music?
Alternative music. The way we band, for lack of a better phrase, the box that we've put Walasi and Ria Boss and everybody inside that box, that everybody still says, oh, they are dope, but for some reason we don't give them the dope stage to perform.
I don't think High Life has been put in that conversation.
That is what
he's asking.
I'm not saying it's been put there. Three people understanding the
He's
thing.
asking if it will be.
I didn't say
It
to put there.
there's not even a situation of it would be.
Yeah, that's what
It's already big by itself. The fact that people are not doing that
The
doesn't mean
name,
that.
no. The fact that we know the word dinosaur doesn't mean you can show me one.
No,
we
but
know
you
the
can't even
thing.
compare
We know.
dinosaur
We
to
know.
high
Yes,
life.
we know high life.
Dinosaurs are
Give me one
extinct.
recent high life song.
That Kiddy is doing high life.
Oh, not
Kiddy's
today that we
liquor is
define
high
it.
life. No, bro.
Kiddy's liquor is high life.
We've talked about evolution of sound in time past. The fact that people are not calling their sound high life does not mean it's high life. Does not mean it's not high life.
I want chop carrots. I want to add carrots.
Guys.
No, I think that's
I think you misunderstood him, but let him
misunderstood
No,
the
it's not about
question.
misunderstanding. First of all, we need to change the narrative of the fact that high life has been relegated. It hasn't been relegated. People not paying attention to the genre doesn't mean that he has been neglected or he has been
Or he has
relegated,
become small.
Or has become small. People are just not doing it because that's not what is in vogue. It's as simple as that.
And it has not been in vogue for the past 30 years.
People are even doing high life. They don't even know they are doing high life because they lack the education. People are doing high life. They don't know they are doing high life. It's only Kwame Eugene, who is probably like the biggest commercial Ghanaian artist, who actually says the song I'm doing is high life. Recently, when Black Sheriff went on there, Charlie, let me. When Black Sheriff,
no. I don't want to company policy. It's a company policy. Yeah. Why do you want to swear that one?
When Black Sheriff went on CNN to say that he's a high life artist doing hip hop beats, people fought him. But he was actually telling us something that, look, when I go into the booth, I am thinking high life, but I'm just doing it on hip hop beats. How many artists will be bold enough to say, I'm doing high life music, or I'm a high life artist? Because it's not cool for them. But the genre itself is bigger than all generations that have come before.
So let me correct you.
So we can't say that we are relegating it, or maybe.
Okay, so let me correct you. Let me correct you. Black Sheriff can be called a high life artist, no problem. But clearly, what if you put I don't know who's alive, one of the old school guys,
Pat Thomas.
If you put a Pat Thomas music to a Black Sheriff music, there are two different kinds of songs, completely different.
True. That's right.
Yes. So Black Sheriff can be a high life artist in terms of his look and feel, but he's not singing or producing the high life of Pat Thomas.
Yes.
They're two different artists.
The authentic.
Yeah. Okay. Juls. Juls has come again, picking up all those elements.
Yes. The authentic elements.
The castanets, the deuro, and all those things, incorporating them in the music to produce a certain kind of rhythm that is very close to what Pat Thomas was doing.
Reminiscent.
Thank you very much, my brother.
I got you, bro.
Yeah, anytime, all day. So, that kind of music, I'm not talking Black Sheriff, that kind of music, that taste, that high life taste is coming back. Hence, that's what you're championing. You're trying to bring meaning, you know, the reason why you're using the castanet in there or the deuro in there or, you know, those drums in there is because it has meaning, a certain purpose. It defines something. So if I'm listening to the music, it has a certain, before I even come to lyrics, there's a certain rhythm you've played for me that I can resonate with, and it speaks to the high life of that, of Pat Thomas. So I'm asking, that sound you are bringing, is it being? Can it be threatened by us shoving it into a certain space?
Our tendency,
like the possibility of us not bringing it to mainstream
Blacko
stage for it to become, or we'll still keep it at a Sylphie. I think Adoma, and you get what I'm trying to say.
Okay, so now
you see where I'm coming from.
I understand.
High life is big.
Right,
In fact, it is bigger than my mother, my father, all of us.
What I think you're saying. So basically, you're saying because the quote unquote bigger stars are not venturing into that sound, the likes of Isufi and Adoma and Walasi would try their hands at that sound to stay
get
authentic
relegated
and real, so that they have the attention of the Ghana people, because they are very, very eclectic in whatever they do, right? Well,
not to say Sark hasn't dropped the High Life song before. No, he has. He's big. He's a big artist.
Yes, but like now, I mean, I don't remember the last time I heard like a crazy High Life record by, you know, the big guys. You know, Stonebwoy, you know, dropped an amazing album. And it feels very Ghanaian based on his tonation and everything. I stand corrected, but I think there's probably just one song that is heavily High Life influenced, and I think it's one of the last 2 tracks on there. I can't remember. I think it's just about being intentional. If Sarkodie says, okay, you know what, now I want to be intentional and actually tap into the High Life proper, and everybody kind of like follows suit. And I use Sarkodie as an example because Sarkodie is our biggest export, right? Or if an Amare is like, you know what, I want to tap into this sound. These guys have so much attention and they're big superstars. If they kind of like champion that and then they have the attention of everybody, I feel like everybody will follow after them, and that's when I feel like we'll have a better stage.
You remember this Nigerian guy song? After the red, they lose. What was that crowd? What's the name?
I don't remember his name. But I remember the song.
That guy.
Make you dance.
Lenny showed me Harry songs. Thank you very much. Thank you.
Harry songs?
Yeah, Larry. I'm saying.
Got Harry songs there.
Lenny showed me. I said Larry. Lenny showed me Fals's newest. One of the newest songs. I went on his page and I checked. If it's that, those songs carry a very strong, rooted Nigerian culture music, being done by big artists, and that is blowing up big time as well. It's getting the audience. Even the rhythm of after the radio play the blues.
Shout outs to Fino for that as well.
He produced it.
Yeah. No, I'm not saying like Fino the artist. If you listen to Fino's music, you notice that he, as much as possible, he tries to keep some authentic Nigerian. Flavor. Yeah, he the one who did the Lion is right. No, that's Flavor, right? The Lion is Flavor. So Flavor and Fino. Fino is a rapper. Flavor is more like a singer. Yeah. So these two guys, when they are doing their music,
you can feel
as big as they are, they still keep the elements.
Let me bust you. So talking like. Let me interject.
Okay, you finish.
We are talking like Juls just came yesterday. As long as I've known Juls, his production style has tapped into our authentic African and Ghanaian sound, right? So the media, the fans, all of us, the ecosystem, we are not new to this rebirth or this spotlight of how it's possible to take our authentic music and make it big. The same way we are talking about the flavor and all these things and all that. I can mention 10 Ghanaian songs that have those vibes, right? But again, we played them, we stopped, and we went to the very pop-centered stuff. Those things never sail on. It's a big wave of, whoa, it be vibe, and then you understand? Bankulais was a vibe, Pemu was a vibe, the song with Show Them Camp was a vibe. There's like 10 different songs I can mention from you alone, which had that vibe, which are massive songs. But my concern is that we celebrate it momentarily. And then we go back to whatever was the main trend.
It's because we don't believe in that identity.
No, part.
That has been the problem.
That was the next question.
What
do you answer no, Nana doesn't make mistakes.
So it's not even about the size of hip. Like, well, if you want us to use the word appreciation to make it, better defined for your understanding, fine. The appreciation of that music, that culture, is what I'm asking Jules. That do you feel to be threatened? Because now, Shirley just given us. Is it going to be a flash in the pan thing? We went for it, we loved it, and we reset back to our.
Let me just chip in this briefly before Jules comes in. I think the last time we spoke about exposure with Q, and once again, I think we have to take this baton of intentionality and project what's cool to the audience. And that's why Kofi will talk about policy and clubs and pubs and blah 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 blah. It's great. Someone will say, you can't control streaming, and it's okay. But I'm saying that the first point of contact is what you are hearing when you go to the pubs, the clubs, or what you're even seeing on TV or hearing on radio. We dare say that most of the Uber drivers in this country listen to Plus 89.9 FM every morning because of the show.
For once, if I'm listening, please, most of the taxi hailing apps.
Most of the ride hailing apps.
So Shaxi, Uber, Yango, Bolt.
So
especially Yango.
So imagine.
I know what's
Now, I may not have a collective database of how many drivers make up these ride hailing apps. But imagine, there every morning there is an intentional policy to play this kind of music. Before I came in here, I was in the car and I was listening to Plus, and we were playing some of Jules' Highlife, inspired music. And I just listened to that. I was like, the transition, the smoothness, like this is our air day. You get me? So I was like, why won't a DJ want to play this record for his listeners? Is it because he's not being paid well to do it? Is it because he himself does not believe in the records that he's playing? Or is because
I was born at the wrong time?
Or it's because he's been showed something else to be cool?
Paul Azuma, just for read, Paul Azuma says that we also need to decentralize our music scene from Accra. We need to help revive music scenes in other regions to be self-sustaining and to produce talent and preserve our folklore music. Great point. Paul is watching us.
The
Paul, thank you very much.
Authority.
Yeah.
I'm wondering where they sit in this conversation. I don't know what they have.
The last time I heard anything about folklore, they were going to sue Black Panther for Kente. Or we should go on.
But
anyway,
let's come back home, please.
Let's come back home. Yeah, I told you.
What shall space? I
came here to be. What
space? Because they put up your Benz inside.
Yes.
Then you left it for you.
Yes. They waited till they finish Black Panther before fighting about Kente.
So that you see his
Don't make a hard one.
Jules, I beg you can.
I was saying that you mentioned intentionality of the media, and I'm saying we do love it. You the guy say you send me. It's true for City FM. I tell you, say City they use the
for one of their shows.
For Benner's show.
Oh yeah, Breakfast Club.
For years.
Club, yeah.
So the thing you are talking about in the morning and the amount of people who resonated with the song because they heard it on that platform.
Yeah. So once again,
right. So your point is 200%
once again, even coming back to intentionality again, right? Imagine all the top breakfast shows across this country. Because we know the number of people who are tuning in to listen to be it political issues, social issues, or even sports. So you can imagine if there's some kind of policy that allows them to play this music to your ready audience, because these guys are tuning in to, even in a trotro. Just look at the audience in a trotro. If it's a 207, it's taking about what, 25 people. So 207 times 5, 20 times 5, that's 100 people there ready, audience ready to listen to new music. So if we or even the owners of the stations do not even see the value in this intentionality to even make them feel Ghanaian, then there's a problem somewhere.
But also beyond the morning shows, I think that we should make it like a lifestyle for us.
Yeah, right? But you have to start from somewhere.
No, but it should go beyond. No, it should go. There's a disconnect. I get that.
So
there's
we
a
start
disconnect
somewhere, and I think that's like.
No, I understand that, but what I want to say is, I think it should go beyond the morning shows, because if someone is going to sit in a car and only listen to it in the morning, what happens throughout the day? Right? Are they going to listen to Highlife only in the morning, and then during the day they are going to go back to their hip hop, Afrobeats, and all of that? It should run through the day.
We need to make it look
and
cool.
Then the other, exactly, I was just going to say that we should also not make it look like Highlife is for a certain demographic in relation to age, where we say that maybe 40 plus has to enjoy Highlife. Or everybody.
Go higher.
I should go higher than the 40. Sorry, 45 plus.
The whole room is 40 plus.
Sorry.
Don't do that.
45 plus. 45 plus should enjoy Highlife, because I think that's what it has. It also looks like that. If you are a certain age and above, is the only time you can enjoy Highlife, because then someone who is 10 years doesn't want to even listen to Highlife. Doesn't want to enjoy Highlife.
Like if you tell your friend you're going to maybe plus 233,
they're like, for what?
And they even laugh them on Twitter. They say plus 40, 30 plus 40. I'm like,
so I feel like we should also
like,
make it
I'm not going to go 223 again.
Plus 233 is a vibe.
Bro, if you go there playing Highlife music, like
it's not about
Charlie, where you go? I don't go plus. Charlie, be John.
For what? Or for what?
It'd be crazy.
I get some meeting.
So we should make it a conscious effort.
Now your guy, they meet up for 223 there. The man.
Once we do that, then everybody will know that, okay, I can listen to Highlife at any age, and I don't have to maybe start from, okay, I'm growing as a child, I have to listen to gospel to a certain age, then I move to hip hop to a certain age, then Afrobeats to a certain age. Yeah, like it shouldn't be the case. Everybody should be able to listen to Highlife anytime and every time.
Apart from age and all that and consistency, like Lenny is saying, I think we also need to look at the mood of Highlife, because when he mentioned listening to Highlife early morning going to work, honest to God, that's not the time. I want Highlife to win.
Let me ask.
Right?
Let me ask.
I wake up and enter the back.
No, hold on.
Time.
Jules,
it can be refreshing as well.
Early morning in the truck going to work is not the time.
What you just said, I need you to answer this for me. in the elements you choose in creating these high life rhythms, do you in any way, let's talk technical, do you in any way consider the bass, the drum,
the mood, the
and
kind
all
of
that
energy you're trying to
I was
create?
just about to ask that when you spoke about mood,
because it's very laid back.
To be honest with you, I'm not gonna lie. I wouldn't mind. Listen, in fact,
I
don't mind. No, relax. High life in the morning is fantastic.
It's
It'll be refreshing.
Charlie.
I don't. I mean, this guy did the drive like.
This guy, Charlie.
I was doing 50 on the highway. 50 on the highway. When Cyril sped past me on the N1, I think I didn't see him.
He was listening to DMX.
Hey.
Music sets the mood.
He was listening to DMX.
That's why your car garage. I think with the sounds
to mood.
I feel like things that capture people's attention is bass. When the bass comes in, no matter who you are, whether you're 40 plus or 18 plus or whatever, you feel the bass. So with the project, I was very careful with the elements that I chose that will capture people's attention. Hard knocking drums that were inspired by hip life and then hammer, and then from the guitar point, sounds that were very reminiscent of things that I heard a long time ago. And this is music from the 60s and the 70s, because the 60s and the 70s, that mood of the way they play their guitars and their organs is very soothing, and it feels spiritual. So I use those elements, right? And then with the percussion, that's when you need to think about how you're going to kind of like sell it to the world, and you think about the instruments that move people of different demographics. I've played in so many different places, even white people. You'd be surprised. Look, J.D. Blair, Ambule, and Ebo Taylor and Pat Thomas are touring the whole of Europe every single year.
And it's always lit.
And it's always incredible. And I can guarantee that a lot of those people in that crowd do not know all the songs and what they mean, but it just feels good, right? And then they'll go back and go and listen to, look, Pat Thomas and all of these guys, the money that they're making on the DSPs and the streams that they're getting is not from Ghana, or it's not from Africa. It's from that side of the world, because they love that music. So they're good on their own. So I choose percussion carefully, because I know that's something that also moves, different demographics, whether it's somebody in Paris or somebody in Copenhagen and stuff like that. Now, with the artists, to be able to sell it, you have to be very particular about how you A&R it and the people that you're going to get on the record. That's why I chose the certain people that I wanted to work with. Akan is considered as this, like you said, altered rapper, and he's very dope, but I'm sure the average Ghanaian is like, he hasn't done a record that sounds like Shatta Wale that's just going to make everybody go crazy. And that's why we did that record. And that's why I did that record with him, because I feel like it will open a new space where people, well, hopefully anyways, because I feel like the song on there that we did is the record that's going to like...
Rambo is trending.
I feel like that's going to set the pace for like people to see him in a different light. R2B, Sarkodie and Kiddy, they've been doing their things for years. And I feel like Sina So and Walasi are also seen in that alter space, but then when they are on this record, I feel like it sounds very good. So it's just kind of like how we package it and how we can make the sound feel authentic and appealing to people worldwide. And we also own the sound here by making sure that we predominantly play it not just on radio in the morning on the breakfast clubs, but if you're going to the Watch Expo around the corner, that's what we want to hear. And the lounges and how did you when's the first time you heard an Amapiano song? I'm sure it was probably in some restaurant. So it's like it's psychological, because when you keep on hearing a sound everywhere you go and you're like, what is this sound?
In your face,
it starts to get popular. So what if when we go out we start to hear Highlife a lot more? That's how the brain works, and that's how
and I think that's why I know people would want to argue that we can't force people to listen to a particular type of music and blah 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 blah. But what they also need to understand is the music that we are listening to today were put before us. These were music, or these were songs that were constantly, like you were saying, in our eardrums. Like you catch yourself singing to a song, or perhaps rapping to a song that you originally didn't like on the first listen, because there's some kind of intentional push, So if we are able to raise that same, energy, and also put that same consistency behind some of these songs. Like yesterday, he mentioned the gentleman at the listening who I've been following personally, Arada J. Yeah. He's a rapper, but the kind of music or the kind of production he's rapping on is purely Highlife. So you can call him like your contemporary Highlife artist. He's just like an Akan situation where people may not immediately gravitate towards him because he's not doing quote unquote cool music, right? But Arada J may be one of that, or one of those examples where he could do cut across music, not just for people who are 20 and above, but for 40 and below. Many people don't understand how Sarkodie's influence cut across all genres or all generations. It's because of that Mary album. And if you listen to that conversation, or you listen to the interviews about Sarkodie's Mary's album, Sarkodie had an intentional approach. He did that project because of the grandmother. Because the grandmother said, Sark, it's too heavy for me, and I am old. I can't relate. So do something that I can sing to my people, my friends, and whatnot. Sark may have had some older folks as part of his audience, but that Mary project expanded it so much so that he had enough, older folks to join him in the journey of doing Highlife music. And you've heard Sark rap on a lot of Highlife beats, and he's murdered it because he knows when to switch to that and when to go to hardcore music. Do you get what I'm saying? So you have Juls working with Sark on a Highlife beat, and you have J-So working with Sark on a hip-hop beat, and he's murdering both. What we are saying is producers and artists need to be daring. Producers need to come out of their shell and say, you know what, we don't want to copy what's out there. We have enough, bro. The Ghanaian instruments, or the Ghanaian traditional instruments that we have, if we are about to count them, today we go finish. Hundreds of them. Hundreds of them. Taking away the guitars and whatnot. If we count our drums alone, for the phantom from to whatever, there are lots of sounds, traditional sounds there, that will give these producers opportunity to create something new. Many people may not know this, but Juls actually traveled across the length and breadth of this country to go and listen to some of these authentic sounds from these regions, like what these regions are known for, and nice. and the sounds they are represented by. How many producers are looking to take on that challenge to be able to say, you know what, this is where I'm from, this is the country I represent, I'm a producer, I want to be crazy, I want to be daring, I want to hear me, but
we don't look inward, we look
exactly out. But you have a spine that, for example, if it was Fruity Loops, we say what is a template, what do you call those
one
beats?
Preset.
It's a preset. You already have a traditional preset. Your drums are there. Like he said, Hammer created a signature. But where did those signature sounds come from? It came from a spine. So if you are looking to be challenging and you want to leave something within your beats that allows you to be Ghanaian, when we strip the beats down, we should be able to see your nationality.
The crack of it.
You understand? When we strip it down, we should be able to see it. Today, Nigerians are not Amapiano, but regardless of whatever they want to do with it, when they strip it down, they will still hear the indigenous.
You go hear the Yoruba voice.
You get what I'm saying? So, like he said, we are going to a place where we are producing the songs, we are producing the sounds and whatnot, but we are not leaving any form of national ID card in there. So the song will travel somewhere, and that's why someone will say.
Is what he mentioned.
Yeah.
He already mentioned. He mentioned something in his bid to explain how we can make it work, and I realized that is where we have been failing. The A&R.
Yeah.
The positioning, pushing, and promotion of our sound is why it doesn't last. Because the music gets us carried away. Jefuli drug song, they bio, and we leave it there. The conscious engineering of how it affects fashion, how it's playing in film, how it's playing in conversations, how it's playing in new media, advertising, everything. It doesn't. Nobody thinks further than you've produced the song. It's a hit. Let's enjoy it. Because if you look at what the dancers are dressing like, even to do their TikTok videos, it's Amapiano inspired, which is Kwaito inspired. So the shadows that they wear to do the Amapiano things, or the dancers go look at it, right? They go, what do these people wear in this Amapiano ecosystem?
But for real, do the Highlife ever have a look?
That's what it does.
Did you have a look?
Yes, it has a look.
When I say have a look, in terms of fits.
Yes.
What were the fits for those?
Clean.
print.
So the shirt with the mouth open. What be the name?
Shirt with the mouth open.
Oh, the flare shirts, nice
Flare
tight
trousers.
fits, flare trousers,
Wear some shoes.
accessories.
Bow tie.
Palazzo, you mean palazzo trousers?
Now they are calling it palazzo. A friend flare.
Because when
It
you
was
talk
flare,
about
then it
highlife,
went to bells.
you
Nice
see,
palazzo is the same trouser.
The reason why I asked this is because maybe this generation may not know of that. When you think about highlight,
That's what I'm saying. That's the problem. Exactly. That's what I'm saying.
But there's that bit as well.
That's
but
what
I'm
I'm
saying
saying.
that-
That the high life fashion sense was very 60s, 70s pop Yankee fashion sense, right? So Motown music.
It was even inspired by.
Think that in African print. No, seriously, that was it. And if you don't consciously cement the genre of music with these add-ons, right? It's just a passive thing. The song blow, we play them 6 weeks, another thing distract us. But if you ask these dancers, where did you get this idea for this drip? He will tell you that, I follow this South African so and so. When Waffles started the trends of how the girls should dress when they are doing the bum shorts, the bikini top and jeans, blah, blah, blah. It was a trend. Now everybody is wearing that to the clubs, to the pubs, because the sound comes with a look and the two together create the feeling. So people want to replicate the feeling. They don't just want to replicate the sound. But Ghana, we have this thing where we just put out the music. It's dope. Nothing else follows. We did the same thing with Azonto. Azonto was just about the sound. Boom, boom, boom. We go dance. It didn't connect to nothing else. Azonto didn't connect to, apart from Azonto Ghost. Apart from Bisa. Azonto Ghost, that was in a film.
Yeah.
Azonto didn't connect to cinema. Shrimp, zero. Azonto didn't connect to fashion. That this be how Azonto shirts for
who's
days.
supposed to do that connection?
That's what he said. A&Rs, industry gatekeepers. I was bashing Ghana fashion people in some group 3 months ago that they don't aggressively and consciously take our sound and try to staple their fashion to the sound for it to travel together. They are being passive. They will do their fashion show and the DJ will come and play a Ghanaian song. That's not it. And people were coming at me. We had a whole debate. Fast forward, Sheriff was
Elise.
was on Elise. So I put the Sheriff video in the group and I said, look, this is why I said months ago and he thought I was mad. Black Sheriff was in Ghana. Since who effed up hands in the air? Which Ghanaian, apart from I've seen him wear FT, Free the Youth and a few other, which Ghanaian fashion brand, designer or whatever, curator, said, Sheriff, I want to style your sound and go. I don't want money. We want to style your sound and go with you where you are going. Right? The same way the Fubus, Jay-Z made Jordans a thing. Which Ghanaian brand? Nobody. And now he's in Paris wearing white man's shada. And now we want to buy the Ellis now. You see, he took our inspiration, our sound, telling us he's doing high life, advertising Ellis fashion, which now we will want to buy tracksuit to wear in this heat.
Hold on.
But we've left our own. You see what I'm saying? Let's talk about Gabriel's music challenge. Matthew's no good. Talk music.
With the project itself.
Yeah. Palmwine Diaries Volume 1. The plan is to do 5 volumes, which is going to be very intentional with high life, and hip life elements. Moving forward, a lot of the music that I want to work with other artists has to have those elements. If you don't like it, then no really
it's your problem.
Yeah, because I think, even though I've done it so many times, I feel like it's important for me, for my identity to stand out a lot more. It's 6 tracks on this project. It's out right now. You can get it everywhere: Boomplay, Audiomack, Spotify, Apple, Tidal, all of the DSPs. I am shooting a short film for the project.
Nice.
It's being directed by Andy Majete.
Oh, hard.
It's a very interesting, storyline, which has all the music, in there. The plan is for the EP to have a short film for every single volume as well.
Nice.
And then there's also part of a bigger project that I'm working on called Traveling Man, which is a documentary that I'm putting together, which is me as the centerpiece and then traveling to Ghana, Brazil, Nigeria, and Jamaica. All these countries are connected together, or connected to Ghana historically, culturally, and musically. That's being directed by Tommy Okewa, who's a very good friend of mine as well. So I'm trying to paint a very big picture, sound-wise and visual-wise as well. Hopefully, these films can be available to everybody by the top of 2024, because people want to see things more. People don't read as much, and when they're even listening to stuff, they're not actually listening as much. So I feel like coming with visuals is very important.
Would be great.
Well.
I like the idea of that. That will also take us to what we are discussing of putting the music into fashion and film and all of that.
Right.
But having worked with so many Ghanaian musicians, do you think that to a large extent Ghanaian musicians are ready to get on the path of championing Highlife?
I hope so. I mean, what I can say, because I've had conversations with them, I had a session with R2Bs when they came to London, and me and Payday and Mugiz had a conversation about the fact that they want to do a lot more. They have been doing that anyways, in a lot of their music, but I think they want to be a lot more intentional with it, because that's our sound, and people like them who are our greats can amplify that, right? I spoke to Sarkodie as well, and I kind of like presented to him the fact that I really want to be intentional with this, and it would be someone like you who would be able to help us kind of like bring this thing together. So I mean, conversations are one thing. They're on the EP, which is great, because that's the beginning of something. The hope is for me to be able to collaborate with even bigger OGs like Pat Thomas and JW Ambly, and then still work with like a lot of the young cats like Olele mentioned, Ara the J as well. Whether Ghanaians are ready or not,
we move.
I like that.
Well, yes. Our time is up. We have to run out of here. But wishing you all the best on this project. And I mean, of course, you have full backing of a lot of us who share interest in this agenda.
Thank you,
looking to go real far. And when the visual drops for the movie, please hit us up.
Yeah, you guys are invited. You're doing
there is a gentleman that I just want to read a message from. He's called Sam D Truth, who's also watching live on the show, and he writes in caps, and he has a different opinion to everything. And he says that Jesus, Ghanaians, what the hell is the problem? He says you want to force people to streamline. It's a bit funny, but let me just read it. Streamline them to listen to one type of music just to push an agenda, the detriment of Nigerians and Afrobeats. He said that Niger artists force Nigerians to listen to the vibe to Afrobeats. You people indeed have a problem. And I just want to address something real quickly with persons like Sam. Sam, first of all, thanks for the comments and thanks for watching the show. Truly appreciate it. But I want to just end with saying that, Sam, when you were born, you were called Sam. And we have called you Sam up until today. I hope that Sam is your name. We've called you Sam up until today. Forever we shall call you Sam. If you traveled anywhere, you need a passport. And the passport's in there, they'll write Sam or Samuel, your full name. It is your identity. In the bio, they'll write where you're from, your name, your age, everything about you. Because we are in the day and era where everybody wants to know who you are. On that note, I hope you understand where I'm coming from, Sam. Jules, thank you very, very much. Thank you for helping Breath and Identity again.
You shake Sam like that.
I just want Sam to understand where we're coming from. That sometimes identity is key. Somebody might argue and say that, why are you choosing Highlife then? Well, it could be everything else. But one of the biggest exports from this country, clearly, was Highlife music. Hate or love it. Sam, I'll see you on the flip side. Have an amazing day. Jules, thank you very much.
Yes, bro. Appreciate you guys.
And we out.